So you read the title and you've come to learn why this could possibly be the greatest starter DSLR ever made, and I'll tell you why. This is the Nikon D200. It was £68.95, £72 and something with delivery. Came with no lenses, but Nikon F lenses aren't super expensive. I got the 35. I got this 35 DX for around £60. This was £60. A 51.8D was £60. This was £80. This is a Sigma 18 to 50 2.8. That's a Nikon F mount. This will run you about £20. This is a 28 to 100 G. This will run you about £70. This is a Tamron 10 to 24 3.5 to 4.5. And for wildlife, this will run you about £250, which is nothing. I got this for 60 because it's chock full of fungus. I don't know if you can see in there. It's absolutely full of fungus, but a bit of dehaze works perfectly. So why could this be the greatest starter DSLR ever? Well, for one, it doesn't cost the world. If you want to get started out nowadays with the latest gear, you're looking at least 400 to 600 pounds, and that's with a basic lens. As I said, this can be had with the Sigma 18 to 50 2.8. If you find them both on MPB, you could probably get them for less than £250, maybe even less than £200. If you wanted to just get the 35 1.8G and start out like that, it'll cost you probably £150. The features of this camera they're like most Pro DSLRs of the era. You've got a single shot mode, a continuous low mode and continuous high mode. Continuous high is 5 frames, continuous low is settable anywhere from 2 to 4 frames. You've got a self-timer, a physical self-timer switch and a physical mirror lockup switch. The ISO button is a physical button on the camera. The quality button, the quality is settable via a physical button on the camera. The white balance is settable by a physical button on the camera. The modes are set physically. The compensation is set physically. You can change metering modes physically with a rotating switch. It's a little hard to sort of actuate, but you'll get there. The AF lock, auto exposure lock, is a physical button. There is a dedicated back button focus switch. The focus area is settable via a physical button. The focus mode is settable via a physical button. You can change the focus square physically with a D-pad. So you can see there, it's moving like that. So that's really useful. It has two rotating thumb wheels for shutter speed and aperture. It's got a function button as well. I have that set to spot meter, so I can instantly have a spot meter set. It's got depth of field preview. It comes with a fantastic battery grip. It doesn't come with a fantastic battery grip, but it comes with the ability to add a fantastic battery grip. It's a very nice battery grip. The batteries don't last forever. I got a D70 that lasts like 1,000 shots on one of these E and EL3Es, but you'll get about 150 200 shots out of a single one. With the battery grip, you're going to get about 400 500 shots. That's with dedicated Nikon batteries. With the Duracells or cheap Chinese batteries, you're going to get about half that. The bracket, there's a manual button for bracketing. There's a manual button for flash compensation. There's just lots and lots of physical features on the camera, so you're not diving into menus, so you can just change settings on the fly where you're at it, as opposed to learning all these menus and blah 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 blah, because you don't have to learn a menu. Like in a Sony camera, a lot of the time to change a setting is quite often that you have to touch the screen, as far as I'm aware. That's one of the complaints I've heard about Sony cameras. Canon cameras are also good for having the physical buttons as well. But like Sony and Fuji, I've heard from my friend that you have to sort of dive into the menus to change things. This is a fantastic camera because of the sensor as well. It's got a CCD sensor in it, which doesn't really change all that much, but CCD sensors can look like anything, same as CMOS sensors. I've got my Olympus E420's got a live MOS, which is basically a CMOS, and it has the film-like colours, and this thing does as well. The older cameras are designed more in mind of you know, we have to make it look as much like film as possible because that's what people wanted. You know, nowadays it's all lots of film sensors are very clinical, and you know, they don't really capture color. Like I've got a Canon EOS 100D, they don't capture colors as nicely, and you get a lot of warmth and depth and stuff. So I said this camera was £68, 70 something with delivery, plus a lens will run you, 150-200 quid altogether. It's just a fantastic learning camera. It only goes up to ISO 3200, and I wouldn't use it past the 1600 unless you are using black and white. But up to 1600, it's absolutely fine for color. The menu system is nice and simple. You've got in your custom menu. In your custom menu, you literally got where it says autofocus, metering, timers, shooting, bracketing, controls, and that's it. So it's not like laid out in a weird way. This camera also has an interval timer shooting. So if you are just starting out and you want to do astrophotography, like my friend Lucy, I gave her my other D200 because she was starting to get into astrophotography using her phone, and I was like, right, if you're going to get into astrophotography, use a bloody camera, not a phone, because just use a camera. No one is seriously doing astrophotography with their phone. That's the ability to use a camera. The camera gives you the ability to stack so many images and so many RAWs and capture so much more light than a phone does. But yeah, it's got interval time. It's got multiple exposure modes. You can use any Nikon F lens from 1973 onwards, thanks to it's got the aperture ring on it, so you can set your CPU lens data there. So you can set your CPU lens data. Say you're using a 28 or whatever, then you put that in. It's got the ability to compress JPEGs, which is nice. I don't know why that's on. I usually have that off because I just want as big files as possible. It's got a physical mirror lockup, but you can also do mirror lockup here in the menu. You can add image comments. The USB is not great, but it'll tell you. It's another big feature. It'll tell you how good your battery is, basically. How many pictures you've taken on the battery, how much battery it's got left, if the battery's dying or not. It's got a recent settings menu which you can lock, which is very handy because you can just go bang, 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 menu, as opposed to diving into the menu anyway. It's got the ability to, if you hold down the question mark button as you start the camera, it will create a new folder, which you can set it to have only one folder open. So say you're in a protest or a riot or something, and a police officer comes up to you, it's like, delete that photo. You can turn the camera off, go click, turn the camera off, hold the button down, turn it back on, and go, look, I haven't got any photos. A bit disingenuous, but FTP. it's got wonderful flash settings. It can do radio. It can do really automatic like radio flash blah 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 blah. So you can pop that up and it will activate flashes. I think the SB 700 to 900 or 910. It will do that. The built-in flash is nice. Anyway, I'll show you some pictures I've taken with the camera now. Yep. Okay. So I really like this camera. It's really nice. Obviously, the Olympus E420, as I mentioned in the previous video, is my everyday carry. But this thing, when I'm at my parents' house and it's indoors, this thing is a low light beast. Really, like at 1.8 and 3200, that's all you really need. But yeah, I use it for my professional work, and no one's complained yet. No one's said anything. Multiple times I've been at gatherings and parties, and I've had the D200 without the battery grip on, and I've just been taking shots and people have, they've seen my pictures after and they've been like, bloody hell, that's fucking fantastic. And I've been like, I do my best, but I can't. This is the thing, I can't get as good pictures with the Canon EOS 100D as I can with this camera. This camera really brought back photography for me. I was struggling with color balancing, and I was putting everything in black and white because I was like, I don't know how to do this. And then I bought a D70 to cover all those riots that were happening around the country. I bought a D70 as a throwaway camera. Stick this on it from the film camera. Go ahead, shoot riots. So if it gets smashed to pieces, I'm fine. As long as I'm fine, the camera doesn't matter. It was a 40 quid camera. This I bought because I was like, oh, I like the D70. I wonder what a more professional camera would be like. So I bought this and this and this and this and the 35, and it all came to less than £600 definitely. And blimey, I don't think I've had a camera that I've enjoyed using more than the D200. Like the Olympus E420 is definitely the camera for me when it comes to hobby work and like going out. But when it comes to professional work and meshing with a camera as much so I can actually get stuff done, the D200 takes it, because it has everything you need straight on this. I think it's absolutely perfect beginner's camera because you can transition straight into professional work with it if you have to. I think that's everything I want to say on the matter. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.